What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with this week's new player discussion. And I got Jason here with me, and we're going to be talking about card advantage and card economy. Now, what are these concepts and why are they important to you? That's why we got Jason in here, and he's going to help us explain that. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Circus. How about you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. So, why are these terms important to us?
So these terms are important to us because they give you more cards to play with during the course of a game.
Hmm.
And then two, you need to be have some measurable quantity of, okay, how many cards do I have compared to my opponent,
Okay.
right?
So, why don't we start with just defining the terms? What is card advantage?
So card advantage is the concept of having more cards in your hand, field, and sometimes the graveyard over your opponent. Therefore, this gives you more available place. Therefore, which gives you more advantage compared to your opponent.
So, even though a card might be banished or in the graveyard, it could be an advantage because you might be able to play it from those spots, right?
Correct. Yes.
So, just because I throw something in the graveyard doesn't mean it's like a negative. It could actually
No,
be
no,
long
no,
term.
no.
It could be a plus.
It could be used as a potential resource. I'll just note to the newer players, a lot of the modern Yu-Gi-Oh cards, uh, they frequently have graveyard usage also with field usage. So a lot of the newer cards you may see that will come into Duel may have that dual purpose utility. And
Mhm.
if you see more of those dual purpose utility cards, uh, more advantageous they are.
All right. So, on the field, you mean that's just right where the monsters are, where all the spells and traps. So that's the field, and then the
That's the
graveyard.
field,
Yeah,
yes.
and then the
Graveyard
graveyard
is
is
one
just
thing. Yep.
and then the field is another. So some cards can be used in the field and in the graveyard, and some in the banish pile even.
Depends on what their effects are,
Yes.
but
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. So let's move on to card economy. What's card economy?
so the definition of card economy is the efficiency of a card's effect, or a change in how many cards that you have in hand and on the board.
Hmm.
So we sometimes say in slang, sometimes we plussed. So therefore we gained a card in the hand or on the field. Therefore
Right.
we get a +1 in card economy.
Hmm. So like in some cases you can actually go negative as well, right?
Yes, you can go negative depending on uh, the exchange of cards. So technically, if you destroy a monster by battle, that is a -1 in card economy.
Okay. You also see, I always love to talk about this in my auto duel videos where I always run into the order to charge deck that the computer plays, where it'll play order to charge, which is a spell card, where it has to
Yes.
sacrifice a normal monster to take out one of my monsters. So it's playing two cards to take out one of mine.
Yes, so that is a classic. Uh, that is a classic term in trading card games. You go 2 for 1, so it takes two of your own cards to uh, get rid of one of your opponent's cards, which means for you that is generally a good thing.
Right. So for him, it's a -1.
Yes, and normally speaking, that is.
Right. No, well, against the AI, it's always a
Yes.
-1. All right. So why don't we take a look at a few of modern examples here? Um, what do you know? I already have. Look at this. I have Noble Knights already queued up against
Oh
the
my
AI, and Jason's
god.
gonna kind of talk about what we see here on the screen as I go through the turn one play, because the turn one play for Noble Knights is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it is. It is filthy ridiculous if it goes uninterrupted. That's why in games you'll see many players have trap cards ready for that because they know if that full combo is not stopped, it generates so much in card advantage and in card economy. It is ludicrous.
Okay, so why don't we start with the computer? The computer went first, and what do we see there?
So they just set a monster and just pass it to us. So no advantages, no disadvantages no complete disadvantages right away. So they already have one less card in hand to work with eventually.
And they didn't draw any from the deck either.
No, because turn one in Yu-Gi-Oh, you are not allowed to draw for your first draw.
Well, they didn't. They didn't have like a monster that maybe got a card out of the deck or something like that, like we're about to do.
Yes.
Right. So okay. So here we go. I'm gonna summon out the Merlin.
Yes. The Merlin effect.
So that will draw one from the deck. And this was kind of what I was alluding to with the computer wasn't able to do this. So already I've taken one card out of my deck just by using the effect of another one.
Yes, so technically in card economy, you're already a +1.
All right. So this spell here will also draw one from the deck.
You use one to get one, but still, it's a fairly even to advantageous exchange. So now with Madrat's effect, we go plus again because of its own effect. And since that equip spell can equip from the graveyard, you don't lose any card advantage at all.
All right. And then.
Then, so then we get the Gwen and 2 traps.
Yep.
Now, just know for the viewers, the Gwen can equip from the hand or the graveyard, so that's much resource advantageous from there.
Yep.
And then for the trap card, uh, you can't use it the same turn that it hits the graveyard, but you can use it starting the turn after.
Right.
So, but even then, you can turn those graveyard pieces into potential resources.
Okay, and then so from here, I can go into the battle phase. I can XZ summon, or I can go to the battle phase attack and then XZ summon. There's a lot of plays here. There's traps in the grave for next turn that I can use. And if you look at my deck, I started with 26 cards. I'm down to 19.
Which is this is why we say the Noble Knight combo, if uninterrupted, is filthy ridiculous. Because you start with the 4 cards in hand, so 26 cards in deck, and then the fact that we thinned from 26 to 19.
Well, I guess we drew
How
it,
many?
so we went from 25, and then
25, but still,
that's still pretty
the
good.
point still stands.
And I think a lot of people might ding me for using what was it, the searcher for the spell, the glory, but I just wanted to show that we could draw a card there as well. You might want to hang on to that if you're actually playing Noble Knights for like later on in the duel where you might need it, where it could come in clutch. But I just
Oh
want to
yes,
but I just want to show that you could draw with that from the deck, just to thin the deck down. Because why? Thinning is winning, and what that means is the more cards you get out of the deck, the more likely you are to draw into the ones you need. Because I have 3 Karma Cuts in this deck, and I haven't seen any of them yet.
Oh, that is a very valid point, actually.
Right. So that's why we want to thin the deck down as much as we can whenever we can. All right. So we're going to take another a look at another example here. So give us a second, get that set up. We're going to look at Blue Eyes. All right. All right. Here we are with Blue Eyes. And this might look like a little bit of a brick, right? But we'll see if we can unbrick ourselves here. We start with a 22 card deck. So we drew 4 cards. We're down to 18. So that's good, right? We drew our first.
That's a good start. Like
Yep.
we have at least 1 cards of consonants activation.
All right. So we can normal summon the Sage with Eyes of Blue. All right, so he's
Yes.
going to draw a card right from the deck, right?
You get us one of our stones.
All right, we've already got one out of there, so let's do Cards of Consonance. Get rid of that. Now we're going to get 2 cards. So we just use 2 cards to get 2 cards.
Oh,
right?
baby.
And then we get to do it again, right?
Yes, because we have a valid target to discard.
There we go. Bam, bam, bam. And then we get to add one of these. Let's bring this one because it looks cool. So we get to draw that card out. That's not bad, right?
Oh no, that's pretty good. Like
Then I guess if we want to, right, we could go Ancient Rules.
the ancient rules, set up a synchro summon.
Now let's say your opponent had a board. We could go into Alternative Dragon here because I have that skill. I'm playing that
Right,
skill.
you're using that skill, but I don't think not everyone will be because I know
Right.
some of them are all on Ultimate Dragons.
Right, but let's say like here with the Alternative Dragon, I could go into that. Maybe if they had a card, pop it, so they would go -1 on that, and then I could Synchro Summon here. And that was this one, right?
Yep, the Spirit Dragon.
Yeah,
I would.
I don't play Blue Eyes, so I'm trusting Jason's judgment here.
Don't worry, I think my Blue Eyes judgment is pretty good. So
Okay.
even turn one normally, like I would make the Spirit Dragon and then just
I guess we could put it.
feel out my opponent's board, like see what they do, and then use the Spirit Dragon to react with it.
Yeah, and then what do we got in the? What can we use in here? We don't want to use that, right?
No, no, no. Just set the back row and
All right.
pass.
And then we're gonna end our turn, and then we're gonna use this, right?
Yep,
And
that's right.
then no,
No, don't use
we
that
don't want to
effect yet.
negate it.
No, you don't want to negate it.
All right, and so at the end of this play, let's look at this. We started with a 22 card deck, and we're down to 11 cards in our deck. And why is that so awesome? We are just talking about thinning is winning, right?
Exactly. That's why we're saying card economy is quite important, and the fact that we've already buried our opponent in card advantage.
All right, so we're about to take out their one monster. And now look, we get to use the white stone again.
Get another Blue Eyes out of the deck.
Yep.
The last one, anyways.
And there you go. And then look at what we have here. Going into our second turn, we have 10. Well, we're going to have 9 cards left in our deck. So
We have 9 cards left in our deck, so we've already buried our opponent in card advantage and usage.
yep.
And the fact that we already have lethal on board.
And we showed Meg who's who, right? We showed her who's in charge.
Circus is the one in charge.
That's right. Meg is my arch nemesis, so we showed her what's what. So that is a great example. Now you're not going to have this every time you play Blue Eyes, obviously, but this is like a really good best case scenario almost.
It's
right?
it's probably one of the best case scenarios, like 100% agreed. Maybe if it were me, up to me personally, like depending on what the opponent's board would have ended with, like I would have maybe tagged out the Spirit Dragon, right? But again, it all depends on what you're playing up against. So that's why we can adjust.
Yeah, so that's great getting that many cards out of your deck on your first and second turn. So I think this is a perfect example of card advantage and card economy. So I think we can leave it there. I mean, if that pretty much explains everything, I think between the Noble Knights and this, it just shows that the more cards you can get, the better, and the less cards you use to do something, the better, right?
Oh, that is quite important actually. So there's one more thing, like I want to note down here is that how do you counter when someone can go off that hard in card advantage and card economy?
Oh, yes, yes.
So either you're playing a deck that can generate heavy advantage on your own, or you use cards, needle sealing as an example, to counter back the board that they've made. So whatever advantages they've created, you take them away.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. But
So
you'd also want to create your own card economy because you'd have to draw into that more than likely.
Of
Unless
course.
you got really lucky.
I'm just saying to the fact that I know plenty of new players will struggle with the fact that okay, they're burying me in card economy and card advantage. Is there anything I can do to counteract that fact?
Treacherous trap hole.
That is probably one of the best examples.
Yep, 2 for 1, right? Or 1 for 2.
One for two. Yes,
yeah,
not 2 for 1. 1 for 2.
1 for 2 is even better. So.
There's a reason that card is on the limit 2 list.
Yes. So there are cards like that, and there's not a lot of them, right? Karma Cut sometimes can appear to be a 2 for 1, like in this case with this deck, but then as soon as you pitch one of your stones and then it comes back, you get to use the effect in the end phase, it's not really a 2 for 1 anymore. And that's why people think Karma Cut is super busted right now.
Exactly. So that's why when you understand your deck and how it can create its advantages, I think that is one of the reasons you'll become a better player that way.
Right. So I think that's a good spot to leave it in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. These are always fun to make. I like doing new player videos, and hopefully you get something out of it. If you didn't, let us know in the comments below and blame Jason.
I just want to say to the rest of you guys as well, I like circus also very much enjoy doing these because I get to communicate what I understand to you guys.
You could have just stopped at I like circus. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. You should get in the Discord because it's free. The tournaments are free. There's free new player help from people like Jason in there, and you should check out the new player streams on Saturday night because it's a lot of fun, and we'll answer questions and play meme decks on the ladder. So we'll see you then. I'm Circus. That's Jason.
We'll see you around.
All right, we'll see you next time.